Get ready! Yellowstone fans, the long wait is finally over, and the moment we've all been waiting for is almost here. 1923, Season 2, Episode 7. The season finale promises to deliver a gut-wrenching, edge-of-your-seat conclusion, packed with explosive twists, shocking reveals, and devastating consequences. But this isn't just another season finale. This one has left us questioning everything we thought we knew about the Duttons, the dangers they face, and the future of the Yellowstone legacy. The stakes have never been higher, and it seems like the end of the road is finally upon us. But is this truly the end, or just the beginning of a much darker chapter? Stick around as we break down everything we've learned about the finale and what might be waiting for us when the dust settles. The 1923 Season 2 finale has been building towards something massive, but no one could have predicted the roller coaster of emotions awaiting us in Episode 7. After countless hardships, tragic losses, and seemingly insurmountable obstacles, our characters now stand on the brink of a final showdown. But one question lingers in every fan's mind. Will the Duttons make it out alive? Or will this be the moment their legacy finally crumbles? Alexandra's desperate struggle. One of the most gut-wrenching moments in this finale centers on Alexandra's devastating journey. After months of trying to return home to Montana, she's trapped in the unforgiving wilderness, her car buried under snow, with no clear escape. Worse, she's stranded with a dead woman in the car, and her last hope of reaching Montana is gone. But this is the Dutton universe, where nothing is ever as hopeless as it seems. Alexandra's situation is a perfect storm of poor decisions, bad timing, and fate working against her. She could have waited for the spring thaw, but her determination pushed her forward, leaving her stranded. Now, she's paying the price. Her only chance? The railroad tracks ahead. They might lead to salvation or another nightmare. If they take her to a train station, she'll face a harrowing journey on foot, racing against time, the elements, and fate itself. In a twist of fate, the episode will show Alexandra finally arriving in Montana, but not until the final moments. Her reunion with Spencer will be one for the ages, filled with raw emotion and intensity. After everything she's endured, her first steps into Montana will feel like a miracle. But will she make it unscathed? Or is this just the calm before another storm? Tiana's heartbreaking turning point. Meanwhile, Tiana's story reaches a boiling point. After losing her father, mourning her lover, and exacting vengeance on Father Renaud, she's now on the run fighting for survival once again. Her only hope? Convincing Marshal Mamie Fett that she's not a criminal, just a woman pushed to her limits. At first, Mamie is determined to bring her to justice. But then, a shocking revelation changes everything. Tiana is pregnant. This moment shifts everything. Mamie, showing unexpected compassion, banishes her from Orlando instead of imprisoning her. It's a bittersweet victory, one that may lead Tiana toward a new chapter. But will this path bring her peace, or more pain? Spencer's bloody homecoming. Spencer, after enduring storms, train hopping, and near-death encounters, is finally nearing Montana. But his struggles are far from over. Donald Whitfield has made it clear Spencer will never set foot on Dutton land alive. Now, Whitfield's hitmen are closing in, ready to finish the job. This episode delivers one of 1923's most intense battles yet. Spencer didn't come this far just to die. He'll fight with everything he has to make it home. But when he steps off the train, chaos erupts. Jacob, the sheriff, and Whitfield's men are all waiting, each with their own deadly motives. Kara's stand for the Dutton legacy. As the ranch comes under siege, Kara Dutton steps forward as the family's protector. With Spencer fighting for his life and the ranch at risk, Kara must prove she's more than a survivor. She's the backbone of the Dutton legacy. Every decision she makes now will shape the family's future. Elizabeth's breaking point. Meanwhile, Elizabeth is drowning in grief after Jack's death. As a Dutton, she's expected to be strong, but the pain is pushing her to the edge. Her anguish will send shockwaves through the family, setting the stage for her evolution. The final verdict. This finale isn't just an ending, it's a turning point. The Duttons will face losses, betrayals, and battles that redefine their future. Will they survive? Or is this the beginning of their downfall? One thing's certain, you won't want to miss a single second. About to face an impossible choice that will force her to rise from the ashes of her grief and take control of her fate. The dangerous terrain of her grief is not just emotional, it's physical. As the Duttons face off against Whitfield's men and defend their land, Elizabeth finds herself forced to pick up a rifle and fight back. This is the moment when she truly becomes a Dutton woman, not just the wife of a Dutton, but someone who will stop at nothing to protect her family. The rage of losing Jack, combined with her fierce determination, will turn her into a force to be reckoned with. Her transformation will be a pivotal moment in the story and will define her place in the future of the Dutton legacy. But the physical fight for the ranch is just one part of the story. The emotional stakes are just as high. Elizabeth is no longer just grieving, she's becoming something much more dangerous. We will see her rise from the ashes of her loss. The Duttons, for all their brutality and toughness, are not immune to the emotional toll of their lives. Elizabeth's arc is a reminder that strength isn't just about physical endurance, it's about emotional resilience in the face of loss. And in this finale, we're going to witness her transformation from a grieving widow into a fierce protector of her family. As the chaos at the train station escalates and the battle for the ranch intensifies, one thing becomes clear: no one is safe. The stakes are higher than ever, and every character is forced to face the consequences of their choices. But even as the Duttons fight for survival, they will also be faced with the reality that the world around them is changing. The old ways of the West are crumbling, and the future is uncertain. The question that looms over every character is whether they will be able to adapt to this new world or whether they'll be swept away by the tide of change. The threat of Whitfield and his men is more than just a physical one. It's symbolic of the larger forces slowly encroaching on the Duttons' way of life. For years, they've held on to their land and their power, but the world outside Montana is changing rapidly. And in this finale, that change will hit home in ways no one could have anticipated. The clash between the old world of the Duttons and the new world of corporate power, politics, and lawlessness will come to a head in the most explosive way possible. As the episode continues, the action intensifies, but it's not just the gunfire and bloodshed that will leave an impact. It's the emotional toll on every character that will stay with us long after the credits roll. The Duttons are a family built on loyalty, sacrifice, and survival. But the cost of that survival is starting to break them apart. The finale will leave us with more questions than answers, but it will also give us a glimpse into the future of the Dutton legacy, one that is far from secure and will be shaped by the choices made in this climactic episode. This is more than just a season finale, it's a turning point in the story of 1923. It's the moment when everything changes and nothing will ever be the same again. The future of the Duttons, the future of Montana, and the future of the Yellowstone Ranch are all on the line. And as we head into the final moments, one thing is certain: no one will leave this battle unscathed. As we move deeper into the finale, the tensions between the Duttons and their enemies reach a boiling point. While Spencer is fighting for his life at the train station, struggling to survive against Whitfield's forces, the Duttons at the ranch are far from safe. The full-scale assault on their land is relentless, and the clock is ticking. The battle for the Dutton Ranch isn't just a physical fight, it's a fight for their entire way of life. For generations, the Duttons have been the unchallenged rulers of Montana. But in this finale, that reign is under serious threat. Whitfield's men, eager to seize what the Duttons have built, are pushing the family to their limits, forcing them to question everything they've ever fought for. But it's not just about the land, it's about the people who call it home. The Duttons have always been a family bound by loyalty, but that loyalty will be tested in ways we've never seen before. Throughout this finale, the actions of each Dutton will have lasting consequences, and every choice made will carry weight beyond what anyone could have imagined. Kara is leading the charge to defend the ranch, but as the battle intensifies, we'll see her confront a hard truth. She is no longer just fighting for survival, she's fighting for the soul of her family. This fight will define her legacy, and it's a battle she's determined to win no matter the cost. In the midst of all this chaos, Elizabeth's transformation into a fierce protector takes center stage. As the reality of Jack's death sets in, her grief propels her into action, driving her to take up arms and fight for the future of her family. This moment, the moment she truly becomes a Dutton, will be one of the most powerful scenes in the entire series. The pain of losing Jack will still weigh heavily on her, but she won't let it break her. Instead, Elizabeth will channel that pain into a rage that will see her through the darkest of times. She's no longer just a wife, she's a warrior. This change in her character is crucial, not just for her personal journey, but for the future of the Duttons, setting the stage for the next chapter in their saga. As the finale moves forward, we are also going to see Spencer face his greatest challenge yet. He's fought through nearly every obstacle imaginable, from violent storms to relentless hitmen, but nothing could have prepared him for what's to come when he finally reaches Montana. The station is crawling with Whitfield's men, waiting to ambush him. This is a moment that could make or break Spencer's entire storyline. The tension is palpable, and there's no telling who will walk away from this encounter. Spencer has proven time and again that he's capable of surviving the impossible, but this is different. This is the Dutton family's last stand, and Spencer's role in it is critical. However, even as Spencer is forced to fight for his life, there is still a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The Duttons, while outnumbered, are not without their own forces. The men and women of Montana are fiercely loyal to the Dutton family, and they will not let Whitfield take everything from them without a fight. This final battle isn't just about bullets and bloodshed, it's about the future of the Dutton dynasty. And it's clear that Spencer's return to Montana will be the catalyst for the events that will unfold. As Spencer and Whitfield's men clash in a brutal shootout, we'll witness the culmination of every decision, every sacrifice, and every loss that's led us to this moment. There's a sense of inevitability about it. All Spencer's return to Montana was always going to end in bloodshed, and now we're finally going to see the outcome of that. But there's more to this than just survival. This battle will have a profound emotional impact on Spencer. The Duttons are his family, but they are also his burden. Every loss, every victory will shape the man he becomes. The fallout from this confrontation will ripple through his future decisions, and the consequences of his actions will follow him into the next season. But as the dust settles and the final shots are fired, the Duttons will be left to pick up the pieces of their broken world. The battle may be over, but the war is far from won. Whitfield may have been defeated, but there are new threats on the horizon, threats that are just as dangerous, if not more so. The Dutton family is built on a legacy of survival, but as this season comes to an end, it's clear that survival alone won't be enough to protect them anymore. They'll need more than just strength, they'll need unity, and they'll need to find new ways to fight the battles ahead. And as the episode draws to a close, there's a haunting reminder that the Duttons' struggle is far from over. The legacy of Yellowstone is defined by constant warfare against nature, against enemies, and against themselves. And while they may have survived this battle, they'll soon realize that their greatest challenges lie ahead. The finale will leave fans on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the next chapter in the Dutton family saga. Because if there's one thing we know for certain, it's that the end of one fight only marks the beginning of another. But who will stand by Spencer's side as he fights to protect everything he loves? And will the Duttons be able to hold on to the land that has defined them for generations? The answers to these questions and so many more are waiting just beyond the horizon. And with the season finale setting the stage for the next chapter, there's no telling what twists and turns the Duttons' journey will take next. One thing is for sure, the road ahead will be more dangerous than ever. As the explosive confrontation at the train station and the battle for the Dutton ranch continue to unfold, the emotional stakes reach a new level. This isn't just a fight for land, power, or survival. It's a fight for family. The Duttons have always been defined by their blood ties, and this finale will force them to reckon with what that legacy truly means. The choices made here won't just affect the immediate outcome of the war they're waging against Whitfield's men, they will shape the future of the entire Dutton family. The weight of that legacy is especially heavy on Spencer. He spent so long fighting his way back to Montana, dealing with the harshness of nature and the ever-present danger that comes with being a Dutton. But now that he's finally here, the battle has just begun. With the threat of Whitfield's forces closing in, Spencer is thrust into a fight that will test not only his physical strength, but his emotional resilience as well. This is the moment that will define who he is as a man and whether he can truly carry the Dutton name with all the burdens it entails. The Dutton's ruthless streak is legendary, but Spencer has always carried a deep sense of honor, a trait that may be his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. For Spencer, the loss of Jack, his cousin, is a heavy blow. But in the midst of all the violence and bloodshed, he must find a way to honor Jack's memory and ensure that the Dutton legacy is protected. Spencer's return to Montana was always a promise both to his family and to himself that he would protect what was theirs. But he quickly learns that keeping that promise will come at a far higher price than he could have ever imagined. As Spencer navigates the brutal chaos of the battle at the train station, the true cost of his fight becomes painfully clear. The life he thought he would return to, the peace he hoped to find, is slipping further and further away with every passing moment. And that's when the audience is confronted with a shocking truth, one that turns everything on its head. Not all the Duttons will survive this battle. Spencer is not the only one fighting for survival. While he is at the heart of the action, the women of the Dutton family are also being tested in profound ways. Elizabeth, still reeling from the loss of Jack, faces the darkest of crossroads. She's always known the Duttons live in a world of danger, but nothing has prepared her for the kind of pain and devastation that's come with Jack's death. However, the rage from that loss ignites something inside her, transforming her from a grieving widow into a powerful, determined woman who will stop at nothing to protect her family. Her transformation isn't just emotional, it's physical. Picking up a rifle and stepping into the chaos, Elizabeth becomes the person everyone underestimated, a Dutton in her own right, fiercely willing to fight for what's hers. Her battle is more than just revenge against those who took Jack from her. It's a personal fight to reclaim her strength and power in a world that's trying to strip everything from her. The moment Elizabeth raises her rifle and fights back is a pivotal one. It signifies not just her strength, but the shifting power dynamics within the Dutton family. She's no longer just a widow, she's a Dutton woman, and she will defend her family's name and legacy. Kara, too, is stepping into her own leadership role as the family's protector. She's been a steady figure of strength for years, but now, with the ranch under siege, her true mettle will be tested. She's fighting not just for survival, but for the future of the Dutton name. Her actions will solidify her place at the head of the family, and she will be forced to make decisions that will impact the Duttons for years to come. This isn't a battle she can win on her own, but her leadership, grit, and deep connection to her family will be the driving forces that keep them in the fight. With Whitfield's forces bearing down on the Duttons, every character will be forced to make choices that define their future. And with the losses mounting, each decision carries a heavy emotional toll. Some of the Duttons will question whether this battle is worth the price they're paying, especially as they lose loved ones along the way. The weight of this fight will change them all in ways they can't yet fully comprehend. As the stakes continue to rise, the question becomes not just who will survive, but who will be left standing in the aftermath. The survivors of this battle will be scarred both physically and emotionally. Some may be forever changed, their paths altered by the trauma of the fight for the ranch. Others will have to come to terms with the losses they've sustained with family members gone and a legacy shaken to its core. The emotional fallout from this finale will reverberate through the Dutton family for seasons to come. The most haunting part, however, is the sense of inevitability that hangs over every moment. The Duttons are fighters, but they're also deeply human. The battles they wage, whether for survival or vengeance, will never truly end. Even as they fight to protect their land and their family, they'll be faced with the knowledge that their enemies are many, and the price of victory is always higher than they expect. The family's legacy of violence and loss has only just begun to unfold. And as the episode closes, the audience is left to wonder, will this battle be the last? Or will the next generation of Duttons continue the fight? The war that's been raging for over a century. The finale will be a roller coaster of emotions, filled with the kind of raw, heart-wrenching moments that define the best of 1923. It's a culmination of everything we've seen so far, every sacrifice, every loss, and every battle fought. But it also leaves us with more questions than answers. What will happen to the Duttons now that they've lost so much? Will they be able to rise from the ashes of this war and rebuild their family's legacy? Or will they be left shattered and broken? The final moments of the season set the stage for what promises to be an even more intense second season, one where the Dutton struggles are far from over, and the stakes are higher than ever. As the dust settles on the chaos of the season finale, the Duttons are left to confront the aftermath of their brutal battle. Their world is shattered. The price of their survival has been steep, and yet, somehow, they remain standing. But standing isn't enough. The events of the season finale have set the stage for an even greater conflict in the seasons to come. The Duttons, like never before, are left questioning whether their endless fight for survival is worth the toll it has taken on their family. Their strength, their legacy, and their future are all in question. And as the camera pans out, the ominous silence of the Montana wilderness feels heavier than ever before. With Spencer's survival still hanging in the balance, the finale leaves us on the precipice of his next move. He's been through hell and back, and the grueling journey he's faced to return home to Montana was always bound to culminate in a defining moment. But even as he faces the consequences of his return, it's clear that Spencer's story is far from over. The loss of Jack, the impact of the battle at the train station, and the weight of what he's returning to will alter him in ways we can't fully anticipate. Spencer isn't just fighting for the ranch anymore. He's fighting for his place within a family that's both his anchor and his curse. His fight for survival is not just external, it's internal, and we'll see him struggle with what it means to truly belong in this world of unrelenting violence and family duty. For Spencer, the return to Montana was supposed to be his homecoming, a reunion with the family he's always fought to protect. But the violence and bloodshed he's walking into have a way of changing things. The people he loves, the land they fought for, and the legacy of the Duttons are all on the line, and he'll soon discover that the cost of protecting it all may be more than he can bear. He's fought against everything, but this battle will test him like never before. And that's where the emotional weight of the finale really hits home. While the physical battles are intense and thrilling, it's the emotional toll on each Dutton family member that truly defines the finale. Elizabeth, once a fragile bride caught in the storm of the Dutton family's violent world, is now a woman on the edge. Her grief over Jack's death fuels her transformation into a warrior, and in doing so, she will forever alter her place within the family. The grieving widow has become a defender, not just of her family's land, but of her own identity. As she picks up the rifle and steps into the fight, Elizabeth's shift from passive observer to active participant signals a pivotal moment for the future of the Duttons. Her strength will be the backbone of the Dutton legacy in ways we've yet to fully understand. But it's not just about Elizabeth's personal growth, it's about the entire Dutton family. Jacob's leadership has always been the guiding force behind the ranch, but with him caught in the gunfire, Kara's position as the family's matriarch becomes even more vital. She has to step up and carry the mantle of leadership, ensuring that the Duttons don't just survive, they thrive. The decisions Kara makes will have lasting ramifications. And while she may have spent much of her life in the background, her time has come. She's ready to protect what remains of her family, even if it means sacrificing everything she holds dear. Yet, as much as the family comes together to fight for the future of the Dutton Ranch, the bigger question looms: can they truly rebuild what they've lost? The Duttons have faced insurmountable odds before, but the brutal losses in this finale may be too much even for them to bear. The future of the ranch, of the family, and of Montana itself seems uncertain. The Duttons' greatest strength is their unyielding will to survive, but with every victory, there's always a cost. The unresolved trauma of the past will shape the choices they make in the future, and every member of the family will have to reckon with the consequences of the choices they've made, both the good and the bad. And then there's the shadow of Whitfield, whose reach is far from over. While his forces may have been pushed back in this battle, the threat they represent still lingers. There are bigger forces at play in Montana, and the Duttons' fight against Whitfield is just the beginning of a much larger war that will continue to unfold in the coming seasons. Whitfield's influence, combined with the dark undercurrents of power struggles in Montana, means the Duttons can't afford to rest for even a moment. The forces trying to tear their family apart will only grow stronger, and they'll have to remain vigilant if they hope to preserve what's left of their legacy. As the season finale draws to a close, we're left with an eerie sense of finality mixed with uncertainty. The fight may have ended, but the war is far from over. The Duttons may have survived this battle, but the forces working against them are as relentless as ever. With Spencer's fate still hanging in the balance, Elizabeth's transformation into a fierce protector, and Kara stepping into her role as the family's leader, we know one thing for certain: the Duttons are not finished yet. In fact, the next chapter of their story is just beginning. The season finale leaves us with more questions than answers, with promises of even greater challenges ahead. But one thing is certain: the Duttons will never stop fighting.